Hi, I'm going to cover some basics of Garmin Basecamp and routing, specifically really routing for second-man drop-offs. And I'll explain the terminology as I go along and the reasoning. So let's just start with some of the 101 stuff, the real kind of basics, just to get the terminology right. Right. So let's start with tracks. So tracks are, I'll show what they look like. I'll find a track I've got. So a track has 2 feet on it like this, and on the map it looks like this. If you double click on a track, oops, you can see it's just a bunch of GPS coordinates and bearings. You don't need to care about tracks because they're not used for routing on the Garmin GPSs, so you don't care about them. Routes are something you need to care about though. Routes are made up of the roads that you'll be riding on. There's GPS coordinates and stuff in there, you don't really need to worry about that, but basically a route is the roads and turnings that you're going to be taking. And I'll just show you what a route looks like. So routes look like this, and they have the little motorcycle icon, or car, I guess, if you're using a car. Routes, as well as other things, are stored in lists. So here I've got a bunch of lists. I've got a folder here with no list in it. A list is a bit like a GPX file. It contains waypoints, routes, tracks, blah blah blah. So what you actually do is you make a list and you create a route within that list, and then what you can do is export that list as a GPX file and share it with other people. So that's lists, but basically like GPX files. So now, waypoints. Waypoints are often called the wrong thing. There's 3 types of waypoint really that you need to care about. You've got, and unfortunately people use the term waypoint to mean 3 different things, but they do have different, actually proper different names. So I'm going to be calling them the right name for clarity here. First of all, let's start with waypoint. Waypoint looks like something like this. You can see there's a waypoint. It's got a little flag on it. It's just a specific location that's on the map, and the waypoint is stored in the list, and it can have additional information. It can have address, phone number, all sorts of meta information. So that's waypoint. Another type of point is a veer point. So a veer point is like a waypoint, but it's stored in the actual route itself. So it's not stored separate to the route, like these are just separate. It's stored within the route itself. So let's take this one here, and let's look at this. So this is a route, and it's got a start, which is a veer point, and it's got shaping points, also veer points. So veer points are like waypoints, but they're in the route itself. And 2 types of veer points. So you've got inverted commas, normal waypoint style veer points, and then you've got the shaping points. So these are a bunch of shaping. Oops, I just changed that. I accidentally dragged something there, so I can do Control Z to undo it. There we go. So let's take this point here. This is a shaping point style veer point. If I change that to alert on arrival, you can see it's changed from grey to not grey, and the reason why I'm calling them shaping points is if you switch it to don't alert on arrival, bracket shaping point, so Garmin is calling it shaping point, and these are all called veer points because it says here veer point. So you've got in a route is veer points, and what you're going to have is you're going to have at least 2 veer points. You've always got to have the start, and you've got to have an end. You may have a stopover as well, and in between you're probably going to have some shaping points. So shaping points allow you to shape the route, but they're not fixed points that you have to get to. They're points along the way, whereas a non-shaping point, veer point, is something which acts like a waypoint, is something where you definitely need to get to, like a stopover. So you've obviously got to get to the start. You've obviously got to get to the end, and if you've got a layover, then that's going to be a alerting veer point, which acts just like a waypoint. The advantage is that your GPS will auto skip them. So let's say you have to take a deviation because there's a roadblock or what have you. If you're using a bunch of shaping points, you deviate around it and you tell your sat nav to recalculate, it will take you to the next nearest shaping point. And you may have ended up skipping a couple of shaping points, but it will just handle it. Whereas waypoints, you're more likely, call it waypoints. Veer points, you're more likely to have to specifically tell the GPS to skip them. So the best kind of practice is that all of them, except for the places you definitely need to stop at, should be won't alert. So start and end, and maybe a stop or layover place. Everything else should be the won't alert. And to change it, you just right click and you can choose. You can change that one there, and you can see don't alert. Okay. So that's the confusing waypoints, veer points, and veer point shaping points covered. Another thing worth knowing about veer points is that some GPSs can only handle 50 of them per route. So keep them limited to just how many you need. Another thing you're going to want to do though is turn off auto recalculation on your GPS, or at least change it to prompted. So imagine you are doing second-hand drop-off, and the back marker or the back marker takes a wrong turning, and then the GPS recalculates, and it happens to route back to the route, but skipping where someone's been dropped off, and you miss that person. That would be terrible. So what you need to do is if you turn off recalculation or turn it to prompted instead, then stop, zoom out on the map to see how. Basically, you need to read a map and see how to get back to the route where you should have been, or at least get back to the route and track back, so you're not missing someone that's been dropped off. But the easiest thing is to turn off the recalculation and then get back to that route, and then it'll auto continue. Okay, so those are the sort of tips for what things mean and the right kind of settings. What we're going to do now is make a route from scratch. Okay. So I created a folder. Folders are useful because if you have everything in my collection, you end up with a screen full of stuff. All the routes and everything overlaid, all the waypoints, etc. So folders are a handy way to organise your stuff. So we've got folder. First thing we're going to need is a list, which ultimately will turn into the GPX file later. So let's create a new list. I'm going to call this list what it is that it's for. So I'm going to create a write out to Devil's Punch Bowl from Southampton Harley Davidson. So SHD to Devil's Punch Bowl. Okay. Let's change that there. Yeah, you can see you end up with a lot of stuff going everywhere. If you just got one big folder. So back to here. Right. We're gonna need some waypoints. So we need the Southampton Harley Davidson waypoint. Now, it's not even on the map. Shame on you, Garmin. So what you need to do is go to where it is on the map, which I happen to know that it is. I should know this well. Here. So you can see you've got the snow seats yet. It's there. But it's here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and choose new waypoint. I'm going to give it a decent name. It's good to give things decent names. If you don't, it's confusing. You end up with things called Second Avenue and what have you. And what the hell is Second Avenue? Imagine you're sharing your GPX with someone and they don't know that it happens to be on Second Avenue. It's not clear. So give things good, clear names. It's good practice to do that. We need the destination. Now, it is actually possible to create a route without doing waypoints. You can just create a route and tell it what the start and end are. But I'm going to do it this way because it's going to be easier, and you'll see why. So there we need the destination. Now, the search and everything on here is just rubbish. So what I have found is if you zoom out to the map big enough so you can see where it is you're actually going, and if I go to what I've done is I've googled for the location of where it's going, which is this postcode here. So what we can then do is go find address postcode. Let's put the postcode in. And it's showing no results yet because it's a bit rubbish. What you need to do is zoom out so you can actually where the result was going to be, and then do this search again, and there it is. So we know here is where we're going to be going. So I know the location, and yeah, it's here. It's just parking here is where we're going to. So if I just new waypoint, and it's got a decent name on there, and it's picked up the symbol as well. So that's good. The other thing is because it's going to be a fairly long ride, we're going to need a stop-off point. So stop-off point is going to be, spoilers, pub with no name. So here we go, we've got postcode, copy that in there, and put that postcode in, and we're going to need to zoom out. Do that search again, there it is. So the other name for the pub with no name is actually the White Horse Inn. And you can see it's got it on this intersection there. That's wrong. It's actually here where the postcode is. So you fail, Garmin. I'm going to click on that and put new waypoint. Oh crap, that's not what I want. Let's delete that. Delete. And it zoomed out. That's not helpful. So if I click on what I'm trying to do, there we go. What I was trying to do was click on the point of interest that's there on the map and create a waypoint that's based on it, which gives me the name and gives me the icon, which is handy. But what I want to do is I want to move that waypoint to here. There we go. Right, so we've got the start, the end, and stop off point, and they're all. These are basically 3 waypoints, and they're stored within the list that's going to turn into a GPX file. So, why you might use waypoints instead of just via points within the route is if they're places you're going to be going to often, you can create routes much quicker. Devil's Punch Bowl, not so much. White Horse Inn, maybe, but definitely Southampton Harley Davidson is going to be a very common waypoint that I'll be using. So what I can do after having used these waypoints for the route, I can delete them, and then I don't end up with waypoints all over the place. So I would recommend generally keeping waypoints to minimum, just to places that you go to all the time, otherwise you just end up with crap everywhere. You end up with a screen full of stuff, and you end up importing them into your GPX, and you have to delete them, go scroll through lists, delete, it's just a pain. I'll show you deleting the waypoints and how it doesn't affect the route in a moment. So let's create this route. So what we do is we go edit, I think, create route, yes. So you can do that and then you can drag them in, but there's another easier way. If you select with hold down Control. Now this is Basecamp on Windows. Obviously on a Mac it's the same but different. So it's probably Command or something like that you need to hold down. I don't know. So I'm going to select 1, 2, 3. I'm going to right click and choose Create Route using selected waypoints. Okay. So let's have a look. So there we go. It's created. Yeah. It's not added them in the order we want, but that's fine. We're going to fix that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'll delete that. I'll choose the start and end, create route. Okay. So it's created a route. Obviously, it's ignored the White Horse Inn. What we're going to do is add that White Horse Inn waypoint into the route. So I'll double click on the route itself, and then you've got this little add here, and you can insert the waypoint from the list that's here. So add that in there. Let's add it at the end, but I don't want it at the end, so click there to move it into the middle. Okay, so let's just tidy up. So what we've got is our start, stop, end. Thing is though, the route isn't the route that I want to take. There's a few bits and pieces I want to change. So to do that, what you need to do is zoom in, out of the way, with the route highlighted like this. So we want to go up a more pleasant route such as this one, rather than going on the motorway. You Alt drag, so you hold down Alt and drag it, so I want to go that way. You can see what it's done is it's tried to go this way and then back again. I don't want to do that, so let's zoom in a bit more. And so what I'll do actually in this case is I'll undo that one by doing Control Z, and I'll place another one down here. Okay, you can see what's happened. It's tried to take us shopping. Control Z again. It's this road itself that I want, so try again. Drag it on just to the road. Okay, fine. Now I want it to take me up this way, so Alt drag. Yeah, it's a bit of a fiddly pain. What it's done is it's put them the wrong way around. So if I just go to here, and I move this down, so what it had done is it had inserted the shaping point that I added last into the wrong place. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. We're getting the potential route. This is going to be the town centre, so I probably wouldn't go that way anyway. But I'm just demonstrating it. Then we might want to go up here instead. So let's Alt drag up to there. It's still trying to take us along that motorway. Just drag that up there. The other bit, that's fine. It's taking us along here. And it's taken us to the hub there. We're going to have the W&T brake. Anyway, let's get on and get this finished off. So we've made the route the way we want to go by adding the veer points in there. I'm happy with that. Okay. So let's polish this off. So double click on the route. Now, I'm not going to be going to Devil's Punch Bowl very often, but the White Horse Inn is relatively common for stopping off if you didn't ride out in the area. So I'm going to delete Devil's Punch Bowl as a waypoint. Okay, so what I've done is I've deleted it. The waypoint no longer exists, but if you go into the route, you can see the it's not affected the route. It's still there. It's just there as a veer point, and you can safely delete the waypoints are outside the route if you don't need them. I'm going to keep the White Horse and Southampton High Dales because you can easily reuse them again in the future. So, next thing is you'll notice that one of the veer points, for whatever reason, and this always seems to happen when I'm creating a route, has been left as a veer point, which basically acts like a waypoint. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have that. That causes issues with routing recalculation. Now, if you've got your sat nav set to don't recalculate, then it will cause a problem. But if you're sharing a GPX file with someone else and they might have recalculate turned on and some kind of deviation, then you don't want this set as a veer point, you want it as a shaping point. The other issue is that when you go to start the route on your sat nav, it will give you some options of where do you want to go to. Do you want to go to White Horse Inn next, Devil's Punch Bowl, or 220 Remo Road? And personally, what's that? It's confusing. So what you want to do, right click on it, don't alert. So now it's a shaping point. Okay. Next thing to do to tie this up a bit is we can, for a better, easier estimation of times and what have you, if you double click, you can say when you're going to depart. So that could be the actual date and time that you're going to depart. Why that's handy is that when you import it onto your GPS, then it can actually prompt you, is this where you want to be going? The other thing is it makes it easy to calculate what time you're going to arrive, how long you want to stop over for, how long you have lunch, etc. So, doesn't really matter what day for the purposes of the demo. What I'm going to say is it's going to be a 10:30 departure. So what this means is if we leave at 10:30, at about 11:39 we should arrive at White Horse Inn. It's about 1 hour 10 minutes. And then this one we're going to want to do a stop off. So double click or layover, and let's say we have come on. Oh, that's hours, not second. Not it's this one here. So 30-minute stopover. So if that's a 30-minute stopover, then we should arrive at Devil's Punch Bowl at 12:30. So I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. I don't like this Devil's Punch Bowl one there. And let's just change that. So if you really care what's happened here, is because I deleted the waypoint, it's created a new veer point replacing the waypoint, but because you can't have names that clash, it's made a Devil's Punch Bowl 1 instead, and then it's deleted it. A lot of complicated nonsense, but basically I could just rename it back to a sensible name. Right, so we've got clean name, start, end. We can see what time we're going to arrive. We've got our layover point. We've got the shaping points, gives us the route we want. Click recalculate, doesn't make any difference, and close it. So there we go. We've got our route there. Now, in order to export this as GPX, you can either export the whole list, or or just the route itself? I would recommend just the route itself. But there's no harm in doing the whole list. The thing is, you give someone a GPX file with some waypoints in it, like we've got a couple of waypoints here. They might have similar waypoints, and they end up with loads of waypoints, possibly called the same thing, possibly going to the same place. So if you just export the route itself, then it doesn't mess up other people's GPS with lists of waypoints all over the place. So you can just go here, and then and then I think it's File, Export Selection, and it's filled out the name already. So we've named the file a sensible name. It's named after what the route is called. The route's got a sensible name, or where it's going from and to, so you can reference it. The locations have got sensible names, etc., etc. And we've got the intermediary shaping points as won't alert. And that's it.